Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and for this week's vlog I sat down with Ørjan Nilsen to talk with him about his beautiful track La Guitarra. Enjoy. Ørjan Nilsen is a DJ producer who was born on June 14, 1982 in Kirkenes in Norway. When he was 7 years old, he got his very first keyboard, and at the age of 16 he got his first synthesizer. Ørjan started to practice a lot, and in the meantime he did learn how to produce as well. In April 2006 his very first release came out, which was the Forest EP, for which he used the alias DJ Governor. Later Ørjan started releasing under his own name, and during the years Ørjan already worked together with people such as Armin van Buuren, Cosmegate, Coma and others. Ørjan Nilsen is known for tracks such as Belter, Viking, Endymion, Go Fast, Between the Race and La Guitarra, a beautiful track he made as a tribute to his older brother who passed away on December 16, 2007. I recently sat down with Ørjan to talk with him about this very special track. My first question to him was when he came up with the idea to make a track dedicated to his late brother.
It was in January 2008. I was sitting alone in my studio, and I remember thinking like, okay, I really want to make this melody. And a friend of mine came over called Ireland, and we were searching through for like synthesizers and stuff. And I had this melody in my head for some reason, but I had nothing to play it on. Like there was no sounds that were good enough. So I found this thing called real guitar, and I closed my eyes and I played it. And because it had some settings on it, it sounded like a real guitar. And yeah, it was basically what was in my head and what came through my fingers. I just closed my eyes. There was a couple of glasses of red wine involved, but yeah.
So the melody just came up in your mind?
Yeah, everything. Like it's so insane. It was like all the good times and the bad times and everything, and it was so close. Like it was just maybe a month or so after his passing. So everything was still very fresh. I was alone in the house that me and him lived in, and everything just came over me. And this was the melody that came out.
And how long did it take you to finish La Guitarra?
I'm still trying to think if it like the track itself, like the melody itself, came in with an instant. Finishing the track took me about 3 hours to make it done, but to like really finish it off with everything, mastering and stuff, to find the right sounds, took a little bit longer. I think maybe in the process of it took me 2 weeks till the end. Yeah.
Do you remember playing it live for a crowd for the very first time?
Yes, I do. That was, I think it was in Poland, and it was my ending track. I think this was in, I'm trying to think if it was in Wrocław, in Poland, it might have been. And I still remember having goosebumps, and I think I might actually even have dropped a tear or two because it was a very, very powerful moment. I was very happy to stand in front of a really good crowd. They all loved the track. But because of the meaning behind the track, it was really tough to stand there and keep a straight face. So it was a very bittersweet kind of moment. Yeah.
Especially because the people didn't know this track was for your brother, right?
No, a lot of people didn't. Like most of the people just loved the track for itself. Some people, obviously, I could actually see a couple of people in the audience actually cry. And that also probably made me even more emotional. I'm not usually the emotional kind of type, but this track will always set me off somehow. Like even today. So
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Your brother also got you one of your first synthesizers, right?
Yes. It was a Yamaha CS6X. He bought that because I was so in love with the sound of it. I was so in love with what you could do with it. And at the time, I didn't have much equipment. And I didn't have any money either. And he thought, no, you know what, I'm going to help you with this. I know you want the synthesizer. And that synth became so important to me in so many tracks. There was like, that was actually the first synthesizer I tried to play the melody on, but it just wasn't good enough for like to find a real guitar sound. So that's why I was searching for that other thing.
So you did not use it on La Guitarra?
No, not on La Guitarra, no.
What other instruments and equipment did you use on the track?
Well, I used a lot of samples actually. Like the bass line itself, like the initial kind of electro-ish kind of bass line is basically samples that I played. And then the sub bass that comes in, like when it drops with the guitar, that's a Roland JP 8080. It had this round kind of like deep sub thing that was a little bit analog, so I wanted that to have like a real impact. There was on that track I also used Nexus actually. The pad you hear in the background is actually a fuzz guitar from Nexus, but I just really screwed around with the sound until it became like a really beautiful pad.
The track was first an instrumental version, but later a vocal version came out, which got BS1 as title. Was this your idea as well?
No, that was not my idea. That was, I think it was from, because it did really well, like even the instrumental one did really well, and people seemed to enjoy it a lot. But for it to like reach radio levels and be played like it was played, I think it was voted hot on Radio 538 and stuff, and it was played in loads and radio stations around like US, England, Germany. They needed something more of a commercial appeal, so they added a vocal to it. It's okay, but it wouldn't have been my, but still, this is what happened, so yeah.
In 2018 your album Prism came out.
Yeah.
How have the reactions been on that one?
I gotta be honest with you, like when I first released, I was so proud when I finished it because it was so different from what other stuff I've released. But seeing the reactions, how many people listen to it all throughout the world, it was insane. I think I reached 1 million listeners thanks to that album on Spotify. Every month, 1 million listeners. I mean, for a guy who comes from a hick town in Norway, basically, that's pretty intense.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was insane. And just seeing all the support on it, amazing, like wow.
Do you like working on albums or do you prefer to just release singles instead?
You know what? It's a little bit like both. Like I love working on singles, but when you work on an album, you have this whole process. You want to like sort of like show different sides of you in different kinds of areas, and I really think I did that. Like I think I like the process of being like everywhere and showing everybody like within one product the whole span. So I think maybe now, just because I'm older and just love being in the studio, maybe the album is more me, I don't know.
In the past you already did collabs with people such as Armin van Buuren, Cosmegate, Coma, Arne and some others. Can we expect any new collabs soon?
Oh yes, definitely. As soon as I finish up my other album that's coming out next year, I am searching to like do some collabs. Maybe some collabs that people will not understand or it will come from nowhere. But there's obviously a few guys I really want to work with. I've always been a huge fan of Santa Fe Dawn. I really want to work with him. And Royale, obviously, a lot of people have asked about that. When are we going to make a track together? And I think it's almost time for us to do that. So we'll see. But in general, I kind of want to branch out a bit. Like I would love to work with somebody who's not even in my kind of niche thingy. I would love to work with vocalists that have nothing to do with our scene, and yes, producers that have nothing to do with our scene. So there's this guy called Blackbear who is pretty cool. I think it was Blackbear, and I've heard some tracks from him, and he's really good. He's more of a R&B kind of thing, and like a little bit trappish, but not the big room kind of trap. And I think he has some really good, like he has a really good voice. He has a very good idea. I would love to work with somebody like that as well, just for fun. I mean, as a producer, you don't want to limit yourself. You want to do everything, so why not?
You once said in an interview you would love to work with Adele. Is that still something you would love to?
I would love to. I just think it's so unrealistic. But you never know. I love her voice. Who doesn't love her voice? I mean, she has a proper diva voice. It's amazing. So I would not mind doing that. But yeah.
So what kind of music do you listen to when you're not in the studio?
Let's see, shall we? Let's see. I have a lot of stuff here. I'm gonna go on my Spotify playlist right now and tell you guys a couple of things. Some is really hobby and like ballads and stuff. Some is you will be like, what? So I have this guy called Olafur Arnold. He's amazing. I love his tracks. I think my favorite is So Far. That's probably my favorite track. Hans Zimmer, obviously. Big Giant Circles, Outside the Realm. If you haven't heard that, it's from Stranger Things. Go and listen to that because it's so beautiful. I have a lot of Hans Zimmer actually. Jose Gonzalez. I got Broods. I got. A lot of people are gonna probably hate me for this, but I do have Justin Bieber. But there's a couple of tracks on the album that I know that Sonny Skrillex made. So fantastically produced.
It's a good album.
It's a fantastic album.
People just hate on him because it's Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and I couldn't care less about the name. It's just about I like that track. It has a really good voice, but the production behind it, for a geek like me, beautiful.
Do those people also inspire you when you work on music?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like somebody like Skrillex, who is what I would say a genius when it comes to production and twists and turns within the production. I just love it. So I wouldn't actually, talking about collabs before, I wouldn't mind working with Skrillex.
Besides a producer, you're a DJ as well. You're touring a lot, but are there any countries you've never been to but still would love to see?
I'm trying to think. I would love to go to the Philippines. I've actually never been there. I've been to a lot of places in Asia, but haven't been to the Philippines. So Vietnam, that's actually a little bit like surprising because I know they're starting to have a pretty good scene. Would love to see Vietnam. Uruguay, there's quite a few, like Costa Rica. I don't know. There's so many places probably still I haven't played that I want to. And Paris, I would not mind going to Paris to see how the scene is there.
Are there any things on your bucket list you would still love to do?
Oh, there's so many things. Like I would love to try like maybe auditioning for an acting role, just for fun. I mean, just being on a set and like talking to people and just like interact and be somebody completely different. That would be so fun to try. So yeah, maybe auditioning for a series or a movie or something. Maybe I'll try to do that once in the future.
Never say never.
No.
Can you tell us something that not many people know about you?
People start to know a lot about me now. But let's see. I guess some people don't know I'm a dad to a teenage girl who's turning 14 actually in 2 weeks.
That's gonna be a fun age.
Yes, I'm so pleased.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
What would you have become if you wouldn't been a DJ producer?
My initial plan was to become a neurosurgeon. Yeah, that was my initial plan. Somehow during gymnasium in Norway, it's sort of like a middle thing between college and then university. I just got so hooked on music. I just actually dropped out and didn't even want to apply. So yeah, but yeah, neurosurgeon would probably be my thing.
Any future plans you can already share?
Well, I already spoiled a little bit. It's coming an album next year. I am planning on expanding my label a lot. We signed so many new artists. There's so many tracks. I think there's a track now for 6 months every week. I want to try and have an album tour and try to see as much of the world as possible. And so hopefully people will enjoy that too. I think I always have too many plans in my head. And also making more collabs, maybe working together closely with people I see almost every week during gigging and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll be able to grow maybe 2 or 3 young artists myself with help from my label. And yeah, I would love to see somebody prosper from being signed by me and showing them to the world. That would also be really cool.
Lots of plans.
Lots of plans. Maybe not everything's going to happen at once, but I'm definitely a guy who likes to multitask, so why not try? I mean, come on.
Thank you very much for your time and good luck in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Alright, that was it, this week's vlog. My interview with Ørjan Nilsen about his track La Guitarra. Ørjan, thank you very much for your time, much appreciated. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe. Once again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye bye.